Risings Empire. I'm back. This is my last day here till the beginning of the year. And the beginning of the year, I will be here from Sunday to Thursday. This is my energy is good here. Plus, I come here so often. I a part of my self-care thing is I have to get away and be by myself to process. And first of all, I'm deeply spiritual. Y'all don't know. Some of you know who I am, but I'm used to retreating and sitting with love. That's what I call God, love. I'm gonna go into that, not today. But in order for me to just be right with me, I have to sit with me and confront me and work with me. And that's what I like about spirituality, because it does not give you room to blame something else or someone else. It's all about accountability. It's all about becoming the best you that you can be. It's about you evolving into the God energy that you were created to be. And you can only do that if you are working on you. So I understand I got years of bullshit to sift through. And one thing about being, when you're at the bottom, and I'm gonna name this "The Truth About a New Beginning," Part 5. I told you yesterday how I found myself at the bottom of life, where I was a blank slate. Everything had shifted. I was in a whole new life. Everything has changed. All my the people was around, they changed. Everything changed in my life. Financially, I went bankrupt. Yes. It took me into bankruptcy. But thankfully, God was really, really good to me. So it took me into bankruptcy. And so I was at ground zero, spiritually, physically, emotionally, familiarly, meaning your family. I was at ground zero. My mindset was like a sponge, because I had everything that was in me had been forced out by the trauma. All my indoctrinations, everything I thought I knew about life shifted, because the way I see life right now is nowhere near what I saw before, and how I believed and how I've moved. I was at ground zero. And at ground zero, in order for you to elevate up, you have to let shit go. You gotta let some stuff go. When I first started this journey in 2011, right? At the accident, I was mostly the prophetess still, and gradually, my mindset began to change. One thing happened is that destroyed my idea of religion was I was in the Ronald McDonald House for 5 months, 4 or 5 months. And then if you've ever been in the Ronald McDonald House, you know you're in the Ronald McDonald House with people from all over the world. As particularly and especially at University of Michigan. You're there with people from all over the world. So I was there with a Muslim guy from Pakistan. I had a whole family in the Ronald McDonald House. It's in my book. I had a whole family in the Ronald McDonald House. Shout out to Graceland, because she's now my daughter, and we're still together. We're still together, and we're family for real. But every morning, I would go out to the smoking area to smoke, because I smoked. Well, at that time, I smoked cigarettes. I didn't smoke weed, or I didn't drink. Well, when I got there, I didn't drink. But anyway, I would go out to smoke and pray to get through my day. And this Muslim man from Pakistan would be out there doing the same thing. Now, and he would pray for me, and I would pray for him. And nobody can convince me that that Muslim man's prayer from Pakistan did not get me through my day. So it challenged me because, in Christianity, we believe nobody's right but us. But here's this man whose prayer is giving me life, giving me strength when I had nothing. And you gotta see where I am in this situation. I was beat up. I was in the accident. I don't even know how I got through. To this day, I don't know how I made it. I don't know how I didn't lose my mind. Well, I did lose my mind. I'm not gonna lie, I did lose my mind. I lost everything. But that challenged my idea that there was no other way to the Most High but through Jesus Christ. And then, then over the years, I done just learned, when you're at ground zero, you got to relearn some stuff. So there are things that are a part of my framework because I read the Bible for so many years. I taught the Bible, everything I did, as far as teaching. I went to college and got my master's in the science, at that time, my bachelor's in the science of psychology, because I wanted to be a better, more well-rounded and informed pastor. And so that science, when you go to college, you're being indoctrinated just like you're being indoctrinated in a church or a business or anything that you have to develop a mind in your career. You have a mindset to do that career. And so when all that other stuff was taken away, it got left on highway. Boom, we got hit. I got knocked out one way, and when I opened my eyes, the whole world had changed. I wish I could give you a really good visual of what life was in 2011. The next thing that happened to me that challenged my mind, my old mindset was when we got out of the hospital, we had to move into a hotel, which is why I'm comfortable living in a hotel. We lived in a hotel for 5 months because, we couldn't go back home. Where we lived, Micah couldn't even get into the house, so we couldn't go back home. And no other hospital will touch her because she is now kind of like a case study for University of Michigan. One day I'll tell you all about that. I couldn't go home, so I lost my train. Where was I? We lived in a hotel for 5 months. And it's like, we were at the Residence Inn. If you've ever stayed at a residence, we had a 2-bedroom suite. So there's one room on one room on the other, and there's this little kitchen and living room sitting area. So it's very small, very small. And Micah has to have 2 caregivers. One has to be a nurse and the other one an aide to take care of her 24 hours a day. I'm a very private person. Like, I'm sure there are people that can tell you that, I know there's people that can tell you that they have popped up over my house and knocked on my door, and I done sat in my house watching them knock on my door, and I didn't answer my door. Because I didn't invite you to my house, so you don't have no business knocking on my door. And I will let you stand out there till you figure out I'm not answering the door. So there's people that can say that. I'm very private when it comes, like, just my family I like around me. Mostly just my kids, my nieces, nephews, like my kids. That's really most. But I ended up having to have, that's 4 people, 4 extra people in this little small place, 2 12-hour shifts. You got a nurse and an aide, a nurse and an aide. And you're in a mental breakdown state. Your daughter's in trauma. And now I have to learn how to live with people in my house 24 hours a day, doing for my daughter what I can't do. That's an awakening for me. And then all of these young women were young women. So since 2011, I've been the oldest person in my circle. I hadn't, like I said, everything had been kicked out of me. So everything that I had learned, I have learned culture-wise, music-wise, a complete reset I done been through. Hold on, let me see.